The fate of empires depend on the education of their youth. To destroy knowledge is a crime against humanity. To destroy evidence is a crime against the court of law. The burning of the library at Alexandria set back the course of civilization by over 1,000 years. My friend, have you heard of what they call the Dark Ages? There is much of history that has been mutilated. There is much of history that has been erased. There is much of history that has been alterated, that has been adulterated. And it has brought a lot of conflict in religion, in culture, and in education, and in many aspects of life. Arweave is a platform that, instead of putting, James sent X amount of coin B and C to Peter on the blockchain and is staying there for 1,000 years, 100 years. Arweave is bringing a system here. We couple data storage with consensus mechanism. Before we explain what Arweave is seeking to do, I want to tell you a little about the Library of Alexandria. Where the Library of Alexandria, according to stories, some say it was Julius Caesar in his conquest that actually burned down the library. Where at the library you see works that has been translated from different aspects, works that have been brought from different domains, from different disciplines, were brought to the library. I heard that the library consisted of a place where you could read, places for discussions, and many other stuff. And it produced a lot of people. And I want to call some of the persons that actually came from the library. As you can see from my screen, you have Hipparchus of Nicaea, the father of trigonometry. It said he was famous for the discovery of the precession of the equinoxes. He came from the library. Another person from the library, we have Euclid of Alexandria. I remember in school, there was a topic in, what's his name of this topic? Is it geometry or something like that? When we were taught Euclidean triangles and all that, Euclidean angles. So Euclid, the father or the founder of geometry, came from that library. We have, I might be wrong, you guys from Greek, pardon me. We have Dionysius Thrax, who first published works around the part of speech, came from that place. We have Herophilus, the father of anatomy, came from that place. You have Archimedes, the guy who proposed the Archimedes principle and also designed the Archimedes screw and other works. He came from that place. Did you know that some of his works were lost? You have Heron of Alexandria, the guy who designed something relating, designed a system that was steam powered. He came from that place. You have Eratostenes, the father of geography, the first to discover that the earth rotated around the sun, and also the first person to calculate the circumference of the earth, also came from that place. Now, you see the examples of the people from different disciplines. But what happened? They burnt down the library. Who knew what was in the library? It's pathetic, my friend. Now, as you can see what I wrote here, what about the destruction of the house of wisdom in Baghdad? What about the destruction? Go to Baghdad now. How does Baghdad look? You know, I really heard a story there of someone. Someone actually told me a story that his uncle actually did not really know the value of education. So the books that were used, he actually used in school, the textbooks. The uncle was using the textbook, he was just tearing them and using them for rubbish. And he said, "Why are you tearing this book?" He said, "Who is going to use them?" So the house of wisdom in Baghdad that brought a lot of persons. That many persons invented their cryptography, physics, learned they were engineers and doctors. I know that. What about the Vatican secret archives? I heard in the Vatican secret archives, you are only allowed to access 3 folders per day. So if you go there and you say, "Well, I want to research on topic A and B," and they give you 3 folders, and you discover that 3 folders, there is nothing there, what should you do? You go home and you come back the next day. It's a very, very big problem. So you have the Vatican archive that is 53 miles worth of shelf. 53 miles shelf that occupy 53 miles. Nobody gets there. Nobody knows what is inside those places. Well, who knows? Did I wrote? Okay, you can see the link here to see some of the lost work and all that. So what Arweave be doing? Arweave is building an infrastructure that is scalable. By that, it has some who will explain all the parts of Arweave. The first thing is what we call the proof of access. So it's a mechanism where nodes compete against each other to replicate data. So as more nodes are added to the network, the mining process is decreased. Then the electricity is also decreased. And then the overall network throughput is what? Increased. So proof of access is a consensus mechanism that produces data storage as against other blockchain systems. So while other blockchain systems are storing data, or Mr. James did the transaction with Mr. Paul at this point in time. Let's say since Bitcoin came 2008, it's still there. The person he bought shoe. Even the shoe is bad. The shoe is even lost, and the thing is still on the record. It's not really good. Then another component is what we call the wildfire, a system that ensures that the access of data in a distributed manner. It's a system that rates how the participants respond and accept data from other users. So it's like, scratch my back and I will scratch your back. So what that means is that if you store other people's data, you will get the access for other people to store your data. So it's like you have a platform like IOTA. So how the IOTA or the DAG system actually works is which is also the drawbacks of the systems. The more transactions that occur within the IOTA system, the faster the faster the confirmation of those transactions. So what actually happens is that if the transactions that are occurring in the network, they are not large enough, they're not much, it therefore means that you will have to provide this kind of that is when the now resort is a kind of centralized kind of system to confirm those transactions. But as long as there is much transaction actually happening, it goes with for your transaction to be confirmed, you have to confirm some previous transactions. So then the next thing again that makes this platform very unique is the what I call the block shadow. So the block shadow is a kind of system that, you know, when you the Bitcoin, there's how will I put this? Transactions are not attached to blocks. So, but what the system is doing, the system is trying to Arweave is trying to re-engineer everything. So what would they be doing? They will be decoupling transactions from blocks. and that will allow them to support unlimited block size. Another thing again about this system is the block weave. So the block weave is a kind of system where when new participants are actually entering into the system, what you are required to do is to just download the current block, retrieve the block hash and the wallet list from the block list to be able to verify the new transaction. It's like add-up. Now the add-up blockchain system is a kind of system where if a node is entering into the network today, what you are required to do is just to download the previous 24 hours transaction. The previous 24 hours transactions, and then you are ready to go. And then with time to time, there's something called pruning, blockchain pruning. They prune the system, and all that is left in the system is something like a cryptographic hash. But Arweave is very, very different. Arweave does not require you to download the previous, though adult system is a very, very good one. Though so Arweave does not require you to download the previous 24 hours. What it requires you to do is just to download the current one, and it makes perfect sense. Why? Because we talk about Bitcoin and other networks. For you to run a full node and all that, most times you are required to download the whole network in gigabytes. The question is, why would you not download the whole network and all that? It has its own pros and cons. Let's move on. So the next thing is that Arweave is able to process 5,000 transactions per second. 5,000 transactions per second. And the mainnet is going to launch, as you can see here, on the 8th of October. Sorry, the 8th of June. The platform is going to launch. The mainnet is going to launch. They are done with the ICO. The mainnet is going to launch. They already have partnership with some persons, with some institutions, medical institutions, and other academic institutions, and all that. So, and more partnerships are going to come into the place. So, Charité, one of the largest hospitals in Europe, has partnered with Arweave to build a new open access journal. Also with Arweave institutions. Also with Arweave, institutions can build database for journals that are immutable. It can also be used as an internet archive, a MIS for legal document storage. And developers can leverage Arweave RESTful APIs to build the apps in any programming language of their choice. Now, let me give you a very quick rephrase of that. When you look at the internet, as you can see, when there was the incident that actually happened with, let me bring it out. We have Edward Snowden lava bits. So the Edward Snowden lava bit scenario was a kind of scenario where lava bit was providing an encrypted form of messaging. But the major thing there was lava bit was a centralized system. So they were providing encryption. The government could not look into the lava bit system, but it was centralized. So when the thing came, the government says, listen, we want to get access to Edward Snowden's email. And by doing that, we want to get access to the whole network. And it was like, wow, no. This is Edward Snowden. You can't get access to every person's email. And with that, he was forced to shut down the email. Now, there are many pros and cons to that. The question is, what of someone who has very important documents in their email and they were not aware? Then the other pros and cons is that the other disadvantages with what actually happened was, what about if the government got access to all the emails and the government is reading everything? It becomes a problem. So if you combine Arweave, you will be able to create systems that have permanent internet archive. So though we have systems like Wayback Machine that you can actually, or archive.org, where you can actually use to look into websites that dates back, but though most of the times you can still people can take those websites off and all that. So if you use a platform like Arweave, it's going to be very, very, very hard to censor content and all that, because once the system is on the internet, is there forever. Okay, so you might be asking, who is behind the team? So the team was actually from tech starters, and from my research, I think Uber was part of the system from tech starters. And then they have an amazing group of advisors. We have Jesper Noah, am I correct? And Jeremy Epstein, the author of, I think he's the guy who wrote Never Stop Marketing, as a decentralized marketing or something like that. And then we'll have Rob Johnson, and then Friends and Partners, Techstars, and others. So the team consists of ambitious guys. I was listening to Alex Mashinsky. Many of you will know him. Alex Mashinsky. So Alex Mashinsky is a very, very successful entrepreneur, and he's owning a company now which is called the Celsius Network. Now, when I was listening to him, he said something. He said, the founders of Google, Sergey Brin and Larry Page, he came to him and said, then when they were in college, I think because Google, I think, was a PhD project, and they said they want to create a search engine and all that. So he said, who's going to be using that? He thought the idea to be stupid, right? And he said that mistake he actually made is one of the most dumb mistake out there. So this platform is an ambitious project. They've already raised, before they did the ICO, they've already raised $400,000. That was the money they used to get all that stuff and put the minute. So it's an ambitious project, and considering how much they raised, it's like I said, over $8 million. It's not really much. Unlike project that raised, like, how much did Filecoin raise? Over 100,000. Over $100 million. You're talking about projects. You can see recently you see the project that has to do with EOS raising billions of dollars, $4 billion, no products. But I like their approach. They keeping how much is being raised low and going after a huge market. Their competitors in the space are no match. You have centralized competitors and you have decentralized competitors. You have Filecoin there, you have Storage, you have CI Coin, that is in the decentralized system. Then in the centralized, you have Dropbox, Google Cloud, and Google Drive and other systems. But if you look at the Arweave system, they've gotten the tech. What is left for the platform now is adoption. And let me say this. The more people start using the system, the more data is being uploaded into the system. Because they are weaving data storage with what? With consensus. So the more users get added to the system, there's what called the network effect. the faster it will be. So guys, that is the whole review about the Arweave platform. No more will there be the incident, the repetition of the incident of the library of Alexandria. Do have a very good day.